All right, good evening. Thank you very much for coming in a busy night. And then I'm Haruki. I'm a product manager in Smule. So the topic today, I'm going to talk about the three transition into PM. Okay. Right now, I'm working as a principal product manager at Smule, which is a B2C social music company. And then I've been 8 years in the past on PM experiences. And then as a total, I have 13 years in the Silicon Valley. As you may notice, I'm originally from Japan, but I already have 13 years over Silicon Valley experience and then past 8 years in the product managers. So today, I want to talk about many things about, especially for the three strategy transition into PM. But let me start with what the Smule is. By the way, do you know what the Smule is by chance? No? Okay, that's fine. Smule is a B2C app, which is running on top of iOS and Android. And then if you go to iTunes App Store and type in Smule, you get this app. So what it does is basically we're providing millions of songs as a music catalog. And then people can sing whatever they like, and then they can sing on top of it. And then once you're creating those kind of musical items, and then we can share our contents within the Smule social network. And then people find that contents, they can sing on top of it. So we can creating duet songs, group songs, or maybe lots of other variety of karaoke type of music. We already have 40 to 50 million monthly active users as a global, and then it's pretty decent size of the user bases, and then the user spans across 180 countries, almost across every part of the world.
Is this similar to TikTok?
Yeah, so typically people compare my app to the TikTok, but the TikTok is more focusing on funny and then the video engagement type of stuff. This is Smule is right foot on the music, musical experiences. So we try to differentiate ourselves to the TikTok because all of the stuff that happen here is starting from, based on the music you choose. So. And then everything built on top of it. So the TikTok is only like a 15 seconds of the part of the music type of thing, and then people creating crazy video items. We don't expect that happen in this Smule. So this is a more purely enjoying singing and collaborating the music over the music. So. And the headquarters is located in San Francisco. And then we have a R&D center in Europe, which is in Bulgaria right now. And then right now we have up to 200 people is working across the globe. So that's Smule is. Right, so my career history. So right now I'm in a Smule, but to get there, I have a variety of the experiences to come to the product managers. So I started my career at the Cisco as an engineer. And then it's like a pre-sales SE. It's more like a sales engineer type of stuff. And then I transitioned to the consulting engineer. It's more like a paid service for a particular customer of a large account. And then now I changed my job to the startup company in Tokyo, which is actually headquartered in Silicon Valley. And then because we have opportunity to open up a branch office in Tokyo of that specific the startup company. And then I jump in. But a year later, Juniper acquired a company. So now I was part of the Juniper's men. And then I transitioned to pre-sales SE. And then within the Juniper, I had an opportunity to actually transition to the US. So what happened here is when the startup was acquired to Juniper, and then my boss back then actually remembers me. And then one day he called me app. Hey, Haruki, I have an opening on a customer support engineer in Sunnyvale. Why don't you come? So to me, that sounds this is a great opportunity to me. So I decided to take that opportunity. So that's why I transitioned to pre-sales SE to customer support engineer. So that time, the orange stuff is happening, after the transition to the US, and everything on the left side is happening in Japan. So within the Juniper, again, I wishing to be product managers, but it's really hard because I have a sales experiences, I have a customer support experiences. It's actually not enough to become a product manager. So I challenged myself to become a product manager within a Juniper, but I keep failing. There's a lot of reasons. I'm gonna talk to you later. But so I noticed that I need to have something different experience to get to the product manager. So I changed my job to a technical marketing engineer, and then a B2B PM finally. So everything transition happened in specifically Juniper. Then after that, I keep the job of a product manager over to B2B, B2B2C, and then B2C PM. So I'll talk through a little bit more about detail, but this is kind of a big picture of my career history now. Right, so every time I have a conversation with the, let's say, wish to be PM type of guys, and then, hey, I'm looking for the product manager job at some point in my career, how do I get to? And then people may say, hey, do I need to get the MBA? Or do I need to get maybe computer science master's degree? Or do I need to get the AWS certificate? Or maybe people say, hey, just jump in a private school and they get the certificate. Yeah, of course. So my view here is, yeah, of course, everything's fine, but none of them guarantees to get in PM. The point is guaranteed. So, but my view is, of course, definitely better than nothing. Better than nothing. So, you know, whatever you have any subject matter area, please try. So, I'm not gonna stop them, but definitely that's better than nothing. Me, I don't have any MBA. I don't have any CS master's degree. I don't have any AWS certificate. No product certificate. But I'm doing a job as a principal product manager. So people say, hey, I'm like, what? Yeah, people wonder how come this type of guy landed in a product manager's job, right? So people keep asking me. So that's why I decided to come up on the stage to share my knowledge and experience today. All right. So the reason behind it is because I came up with my own strategy. So of course the product manager stake is really high. It's not kind of easy to get in a product manager. So we have to be really thoughtful to making a step and pushing yourself in the right directions. To do that, we need the right strategy, right? So today I'm going to share 3 things. So especially, I'm sorry, I need to touch on that a little bit. So especially that threat strategy come up with this particular situations when I was in a Juniper. So as you know, I started in a pre-sales SE. It's a totally sales job, and then customer support, and then going into technical marketing, which is part of our marketing team, and then running a PM job. So this was a period when I hustled to be a PM. And then I came up with the 3 strategies during this course of the hustle. So I want to share this knowledge. So 3 strategies. One is the become a go-to person. And I'm going to talk through one by one later, but the first one is become a go-to person. And the second one is always explore the leverage. And the third one is influence without authority. So let me explain one by one. Become a go-to person. So this is the great slide when I joined in the specific courses provided by UC Berkeley. So if you go to UC Berkeley Executive Education website, and there's a courses for the product managers. And then actually I took that course. And then one of the slides said how product managers get things done. And then in the center, this is you, which is the product managers. And then as you may know, and a PM has to go through lots of the diverse entities in the organizations. Sometimes sales, sometimes marketing, support, legal, finance, and all kinds of stuff, right? So the key thing here is from product manager perspective, it's really hard to be a subject matter for each of the domain. It's impossible. It's too many things. I can't do that, right? But the reality here is I need someone to be a representative of a finance. I need someone who is a representative of marketing. I need a go-to guy for a particular domain for me. Because as a PM, I need to constantly making a decision, hey, for within this quarter, what needs to be done as a product? I need to set the kind of roadmap, short-term and long-term. And then to do that, I need to get lots of information from a variety of subject matter experts. But we don't have a time to go through each bits and pieces for each of the domain. And then I need to talk to somebody who really understands a particular domain. And who is that? That's go-to person. So in return, if you're to be a go-to person for a particular subject matter expert, PM is going to trust you to be a source of information. And if you people think you are the source of the information, you get the high trust from a PM. You see you see that person as a right hand of a PM. And then you get the more chance to work with them directly, and then you got more chance to be tap into the PM job, actually role. So that's what I mean by go-to person. So in my case, I started career in sales engineer, consulting engineer, and a juniper of the sales engineer again. So I was kind of specifically for a subject matter expert for a particular product, because remember when I joined in a startup company after the Cisco, that company was acquired by Juniper. In the Juniper, nobody knows about the startup product, right? Because that's a small company. Juniper is 9,000 people, and then that startup is just 100 people. And especially for the Japanese market, I am the only SE knows everything about the product, and then I have, that back then that office, the country manager and me, just 2 people. So I know everything about technical perspective about the product. So I'm a really subject matter expert of that company. So when I joined in Juniper, I've already seen as some sort of a go-to person for a PM. So if if PM wants to see the perspective around, hey, what's the landscape of the Japanese business out there, and then how the people customers using that product, show me. And then when PM has come up with those kind of questions, people ask me to get more insight. So that's the opportunity, has a direct conversation between myself and a PM, so that I kind of gradually understand what type of information PMs wants to know. And then so that I can kind of crafting, practicing myself, and then what's the best message I should convey to the PM, and then what type of information the PM is looking for. So that's kind of gradually cultivating myself to PM mindset. So that's kind of a starting point to tap into the PM career. Number 1 is go to person. And then next one is always explore the leverage. So what I mean by that is, people have a diversity of experience, of course. And then there's a lot of attach point. And then in terms of technical wise, business wise, and then domain expertise and anything, right? But every steps you come across in a career, and then think about what the leverage point you can use, whatever you acquired. So this is in my case. If you go in a networking world, like a Cisco and Juniper's networking world, telecommunication world, there is a certification which is called a Cisco Certified Internet Expert, which is called a CCIE. So this is kind of a prestigious certification in the specific industry, and actually I got it. And then I jumped in a startup, and then company was acquired by Juniper, and then changed my job to the customer support, and then heading in technical marketing and learned the PM. So what happened here is, when I got the CCIE, okay, I'm now confident to say I know everything about the networking. So CCIE is kind of a layer of stage of testing you have to go through. And then once you get to the CCIE level engineer, people see me as an expert for a particular networking technology. So I'm enough to say, hey, I'm confident to say everything about the networking. And then now I jump into the startup. Okay, I'm leading the company as a technical expert. So then that company acquired by Juniper, and then as I mentioned, when I joined Juniper, nobody knows about that specific product, startup product. So I'm kind of a point person in the company, in the particular team. He knows everything about this product. So when I say everything, it's not just about technology, but also business-wise and marketing-wise. So people see me as a subject matter expert. So we kind of, using a leverage, starting from technical expert, but now transition to the business expert for the particular certain, narrow domains. So then I have a confidence enough to say I know the product than anyone else in the team, and then now I have opportunity to move into technical marketing. So what happened is this product is actually not the purely, it's not a simple networking product, which is also touching some application layer, and then which is how the HTTP is working, how people are browsing the web applications, how the back then, of course, the email is sending over, and then how the Oracle try to get the data from between the database to the server. I really tapping into the application layer, not just the underlying networking stuff. So within Juniper, it's rare, because Juniper is about building a pipe of a networking pipe. So not many people understanding an application happening on top of the networking. So in that specific team, when I joined in technical marketing, that team was a data center. So data center, and then the customer is like a Google, Facebook, Twitter type of those kind of web application guys. So they are actually looking for someone who really understands applications, also the networking. And then I was in kind of sweet spot when I making the changes to this job. So that means every time when I'm making a pivot, and then I looking for myself within myself, what's a leverage point of myself? Now I have this kind of a skill, that kind of skill, this kind of experiences. How can we leverage this experience to the new opportunity and then getting close to the product managers? So nice thing about the technical marketing is this is sitting actually right next to the product managers, and then they basically testing competitor products and to see what the performance is, and then what's the strong point and weak point, so that we can compare what the Juniper product versus, let's say, Cisco product or maybe some other vendor's product. And then that information is feeding into product managers, and then PM guys looking at those kind of competitors' information and then to make an informed decision. All right, so then I accumulated the business side of sales and the customer support experiences, and then now I got the marketing experiences. Then I feel kind of ready to get in a challenge to myself, the PM. And then luckily, I could land in the product managers and within the Juniper, and then that's the time when I started my career as a PM. So it sounds to me a very nice story, but there's a lots of tears happening in between, actually. So my message to you guys is don't sit and wait. So every time I try to, so there's a couple stages that you see in previous slide, and then every time I make a transition, I actually try to apply to the PM, even inside and outside of companies, but I couldn't get through. So and every time I see those kind of results, I just think of myself and then what I'm missing in my skill wise, and then also the domain skill wise. So I took lots of the courses provided by Stanford, Thunderbird University, UC Berkeley, and MIT, and then a Cooper professional education. So this is interesting. So Cooper is the design firm which is located in San Francisco. So as you may notice my career history, I pretty much coming from a B2B side and then a really heavy duty stuff like a Cisco and Juniper. It's kind of building a hardware stuff. So I'm not super expert about the design stuff, something tangible, like visible stuff, right? Feeding type of stuff. I don't know much about the UI and UX. So that's why I decided to take courses of the Cooper, which is provided by the design training, specifically for the UI UX. So this is the first time I exposed myself in something design thing. And then actually this works really well. I really recommend you to take a course if you're not familiar with the UI UX. So over the course of the years, I took those kind of courses and then kind of ramping up myself to become a robust PM. So I think key message here is the more you learn different fields, the more you understand the language you should speak as a PM. So as you noticed in a couple slides before, and the PM is the center, there's lots of hub and spoke out there. Each subject matter expert has sets of their own languages. In a finance world, there's some sets of their own language. In a marketing world, there's a set of languages. If you go to customer support team, they have their own languages. Of course, we speak in English, but in terms of business-wise and technical-wise, they are expecting PM to say the similar or understandable words of the particular domain. So as a PM, you need to concentrate communicating at different parts of the division in companies. So and then you need to convey why you're thinking this is a great idea, why this is the direction we should heading, why you need to spend a ton of money to create the next generation of product. You need to convince a finance guy, you need to convince a marketing guy, you need to convince a sales guys. In each different people, you need to convince that specific language, sales guys and marketing guys. If you explain the things to the way you explain in a marketing guy into the sales guy, you're gonna fail, because the sales guys don't understand the marketing language. So, for example, if you want to talk to the sales guys, you need to craft your message more like what's the money consequence if you sell this product, why the customers are happy. And then why people is gonna get the bonus of this, selling this product. And if you go to a marketing guy, what do you mean by that? Marketing this product in terms of go-to-market perspective, meaning how marketing guy should reach to the particular target with a particular message, and then the reason why is that. And then you need to be clear about the message about this. And then again, when you explain this, you should use a language of, let's say, marketing team or sales team. Otherwise, people won't understand. That's actually coming from based on your expertise and then all of the experiences you got, and then so that you can have a leverageable skill in yourself. And then key thing here is you build your language to talk to the different people, and then so that you can get the buy-in as a product. So that's a really important thing. So the third point is influence without authority. So product manager is a very interesting position because they don't have any direct report. So as you see in a hub and spoke, people are looking at you, but they're not actually officially reporting to you. They have their own boss, right? But they're looking at you as a leader of the product or the CEO of the product. So how can make them moving in the right directions? So if you're not familiar with this book, I really highly recommend you to read this book, and then Influence Without Authority. I really highly recommend you to this one. So the main message here is see the world through their eyes. Their meaning the counterpart you're working with. So like I said in the previous slide, it's really important to understand why, let's say, sales guy is complaining a particular product, particular feature all the time. Why the marketing guys, every time they come up with a go-to-market strategy, they didn't go well. If you go to a customer support team, why they're keeping, why there is so much burned out to support this particular product? To understand those kind of perspective, you need to see the world through their eyes. You need to wear the shoes of, let's say, other parts of the companies, and then look at the same directions. It's not going to be a command and control. Even though PM is the center of the circle, it doesn't mean a command and control. People are not going to support you. People are not going to move for you if you take that stance. You need to understand how people see the world, and then you need to understand. So the key thing is what can you offer? So every time you work with the different parts of the companies, and then you as a PM, what can you offer to that particular the parts of the people? To me, it's more like a mutual exchange in terms of invisible currency. It's actually, that's a way what this book says. So every people in a company has some sorts of a currency. So for example, sales guys, they have a sales quota they need to beat, and then they have lines of the meeting to talk to the customers. They have to be productive to close a deal, of course. That's the currency that sales guys are keeping in their mind. And then as a PM, how can we exchange that value to, in return to getting information about sales, what PM can offer to the sales to make them more productive and then close to the sales. So those are really important perspective to move the people in the right direction without any particular report line. So that's why the influence is a really key skill as a product managers.